All right, it was a big night in his state, and Indiana's governor, Mike Braun, joins us now. And I'll start, sir, right off the top with your reaction to what we saw last night.
Well, I had my little war room together, and of course, this was kind of the focus of the night. I think the country was looking at what did this mean for Trump's effort to even the playing field and redistricting, and the crew that dug in here that didn't kind of see it clearly then. I think they knew this day was coming, and it was a night that wide margins and almost swept the entire field. There haven't been 5 Republican senators, incumbents. There have been 5 in the last quarter century that got beat here in Indiana. There were 5 last night, and another 1 or 2 that could still be in races too close to call. So
it's quite a moment during the push, because you were pushing these guys to do this, because you knew, you were smart, you see what Democrats were going to do. I mean, everybody knew what they would try and do, like what they did in Virginia. When you talk to these guys, what would they tell you as you push for this?
So I think when you look at the ones that were, in play, they just thought it was the right decision. And then when they were second guessing what J.D. Vance had told him twice when he had come in, and Trump had talked to him twice, I think they thought it was just going to be without consequence. And I was in D.C., the National Governors Association, and spoke to the president, and he reminded me that, there's going to be contentious races there, and that, they thought that was the wrong hill to die on. And by the way, 80% of Republicans and conservatives in our state felt the same way. It was kind of, I think they were listening to the loudest voice against redistricting would have been the Democrats that showed up at those town halls, a few of them that were done, or that were making the phone calls. So that didn't happen in any other state. You can see now there's further effort being made with the Supreme Court ruling that recently hit, for a bunch of our southern states, and Florida's taking it on, as well. So we'll see where it all ends up. But I think it was silly for these guys to dig in and not do it.
Well, they're going to learn a lesson, and they just have. Was there any indication that people like Mike Pence were working against the idea of redistricting in the state?
I think Mike Pence backed one senator that he had a personal relationship with.
Okay.
Former Governor Mitch Daniels, I think, took a broader approach.
Yeah,
and I think the whole party, I remember when I came in the Senate, most of us senators elected from 18 forward have been America First senators.
Yeah.
And the old guard, that is generally gets rolled by the Democrats out there, as Republican senators, I think they're dwindling year after year. So the new dynamic is being fought in some places. In Indiana, I was surprised because it's such a strong Trump state. Those senators, though, in those areas were maybe part of the old guard, and they were the wet blanket on property tax reform, health care reform, all the other things I'm trying to do on affordability. It would there run into the log jam in the Senate.
So it's interesting how we have Republicans in a lot of red states that don't feel much like Republicans anymore. It's a problem where we see that certainly in Texas and Indiana, other red states as well. So before I let you go, Governor, it's interesting. You look at, New England, and you have all blue states. There's no red representation, even though there's a lot of conservatives live there. The same problem in red states in the middle of the country as well. Indiana had to do this because I think now it's just a race to the bottom. But I still think it's not a good thing. To have all of these states. We're going to be very divided now. And if you live in a blue state, you're not going to feel like you're represented at all. If you live in a red state, you might not feel the same either, or you might feel the same as well. I don't feel like that's a good place to go, but we've kind of gone there anyway. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the other party has gone there, because when you look at how long it's been like that in New England, and of those 7, 8 states, they've got a whole lot more congressional seats than the 6 or 7 reddest states, which maybe have 1 or 2 congressional seats. And then not to mention, congressional districts are based on a census of whoever's in the country. So you take 10, 15, 20 million people that are here illegally, mostly housed in California, Illinois, and New York. You've got extra congressional districts. So that gets lost in the whole discussion. So I think that, yes, we are where we are, but we're behind the 8 ball and have been that way for a long time. So we see where it ends up. It looks like you might be chasing your tail. You do nothing, you're going to be structurally behind.
Yeah, you'll be way behind. And Indiana, a lot of state senators learned a lesson. Governor Braun, good to see you. Thanks so much. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.